take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm
They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got 2 twin blocks, turn you to a dancer. I see
Not everyone can earn love, and yet love is so core to the human experience. And I really think this is the greatest tragedy in life. This is going to be a much more thoughtful and sentient video than other videos you've seen related to these topics. These other guys are happy with saying that the male struggle is caused by online dating apps and X and Y female behaviors, and then call it a day. This is nonsense, and I'm going to get into the real macro reason for the situation we're in. So if you enjoy a bit more mental stimulation beyond the brain rot offered elsewhere, let alone by the actual look sphere influencers and such, then you will enjoy this video. The transformation in the thumbnail will be discussed later. Big announcement related to this. Given the nature of this channel, I'm specifically going to consider this problem as it is influenced by one's attractiveness. In the modern world, there's some core societal ideas regarding personal responsibility and how everyone can succeed if they do the right things and if they follow the societal programming for success in some given area. And the data does tend to support this when it comes to decent economic outcomes being largely accessible. But this idea of universal desirable outcomes being possible if someone works hard or whatever, it is proven to not apply very well to modern dating and relationships. And it's not like we just have to use theories to say this. I mean, we've all seen the statistics. They do speak for themselves. I think the essence of the blue pill is the idea that what life or society or nature gives us must magically correspond to our deep wants and desires and our needs. But there's zero necessary connection here. And it's kind of like the sense we have when we're growing up, like surely X or Y must or must not be the case. But the tragedy lies in the fact that even the most horrible things and outcomes, they're not outside the bounds of what our causal reality might throw at us. Our causal reality, because yes, our world is one entirely dominated, determined by causes and effects. And the blue pill, it's sort of supernaturally hoping that our deep desires and expectations of life and what is reasonable would somehow act as causes in the external world. We want people to regard our existence, to get social invitations. We want to warrant love from those we develop an interest in romantically, but these wants have nothing to do with these outcomes actually happening. Before establishing the real big picture reason for the present dating landscape once and for all, so we can, finally transcend the explanations that don't go beyond pointing to Tinder or something like that, I do want you to know why this has been on my mind so much the last few days. My first YouTube video was uploaded twice and twice removed. The first time was from a false AI hate speech flag, which denied my appeals as well. Second time was under a self-harm flag, even though my looks improvements actually led me out of self-harm thoughts. But anyways, that video got really personal about the suffering of being invisible in the world and the horrible existential situation of being cut off from others' affections and interest and love, and how badly I wanted to matter, and how that and the fear of regret are just what they are driving me to in the present. There were about 10,000 views across the 2 uploads of this video. Lots of deep resonance and really touching messages that I've received. My looks improvement forum, Getting Hammered Official on School, it went from about 130 members at the time of first upload to over 500 now. And the big point with my forum is that I'm forbidding all of the toxic waste that fills looksmax.org. And so this means 1, yes, I'm immediately banning anyone who kind of fits that bill, but 2, filtering the character and quality of those who apply. And so there's some membership questions. Some of these replies from guys all over the world now have been heartbreaking, capturing so much suffering and rejection and pain and just that short little blurb that they share as their answer. And one of the outrageous things on looksmax.org is that Even though we don't choose our spawn point in this life, there's such severe abuse of guys from certain places like India, and yet the dozens of members from there in my group, if I covered the location at the bottom of their member application questions and you read their answer, you wouldn't know if it was a guy from the UK, from Germany, from the US, from wherever you live. It's a global thing, and all of these guys are my brothers. We're going through this same stuff together. And seeing all of those answers come in, hundreds of guys sharing their story briefly, it's just been turning over in my mind, and I realized the second video needed to be about this. So here's the meta reason no one seems to understand on why mass seldom is here in society on such a broad scale. And again, I've never heard anyone talk about this in this way, and here it is. Relationships used to be semi-involuntary prostitution. They were a trade of resources for intimacy and security. But now, with the economic situation having transformed and progressed, relationships are usually a trade of intimacy for intimacy. Desire for desire, attraction for attraction, not resources for attraction. The entirety of relationships in all societies, everywhere, for all of human history, were really just prolonged prostitution contracts. It's literally the definition of the word. Girls, women did not have much choice, not just with partner selection, where the dude was just usually whoever their father set them up with to maximize family interests, but also just as far as whether or not they even wanted to be in a relationship, because it was all based on the aforementioned value exchange. This is why none of us can relate to the outdated ideas of the past, and why the last generations, our elders, they think we're crazy for focusing on our appearance. They think we're shallow and vain because their lack of understanding, their lack of comprehension of how the game is totally different. It just doesn't allow them to relate to us at all. For the first time in human history, men have to be attractive. The looks pill has always been the case. A lot of these old books I've read, there's really blackpilling stuff in them, but I'm talking as far as accessing relationships and dating. All transactions in the relationship marketplace are a value exchange. And of course, this holds for all other voluntary transactions with any other marketplace. And so unless a guy's value is dominated by something like high status or wealth, then the value he provides is the emotional experience for his partner. And what's the most potent input for that? Beauty, whether her impact on us or ours on her. For me, certainly no amount of charisma strategies or kindness towards others or humor or helping others, it was not appreciated. It didn't allow for a decent social situation when I was a sub 5. There are average people with aura, but this doesn't mean everyone can do this. That would be like saying everyone can be 6 feet tall. For me and for many others, it was just not possible. This leads to the issue with the way that pre-ascension guys discuss women. They blame women for things. And yes, it is blamable if a girl mistreats you. Yes, if she flakes on a date, if she doesn't give you the basic regard as a human being, then yeah, of course that's on her. What is not on her is if she does not desire you. What is not on her is if the impersonal, biological, neurochemical states we refer to as a spark or love are not created by your phenomenal existence. What is not on her is being attracted to guys who are more attractive or taller or better personalities. These things are on us, and then in another sense, they're on no one. These are just the realities of our impersonal world that does not meet our blue pill desires and where things are unfair and tragic. And this is why I do not want to hear sentiments that the relationship marketplace was so great in the past. What this is really saying is, yeah, I really like how guys didn't have to be attractive in the past, and how the looks match concept wasn't the relational basis, and how women were subjected to relationships with guys they found repulsive because it was their only option. Like, that's ridiculous. And I know that none of us mean that. None of us want that. None of us find those types of relationships fulfilling. These shallow thinkers who are promulgating such things, we've got to forget that stuff. It's ridiculous. Blaming women for the broad dating problem is a category error. The problem is not being hot enough as a guy. It's no longer easy to not be desirable yourself, but just to offer resources, and those resources are desirable, and then to secure a partner that way. Because this now only works for the wealthiest guys, and of course, even then, it's kind of disgusting. For the first time in human history, it is looks matching and not intimacy traded for resources that determines most relationships. And that's the fundamental meta change that has occurred. The problem with a sub 5 guy who is suffering is not society, it is not girls, it is the fact that we live in an impersonal and brutal world where these things happen, where our blue-pilled hopes are not met, and where nature and life and genetics completely eldar our hopes and dreams and our wishes and our needs. All that is offered to us in this world is to do our best and to give it our all. And it's not my fault that I cannot get lean for 4 years, that I kept binge eating, and that no psychiatric help, no stimulants, no diet strategies or coaches were able to help me. It is no one's fault that my physiology just didn't allow me to get shredded until the last year, and that I completely wasted the years before that, but it couldn't have been different. It's no one's fault. It was causally necessary. And yet, if I had all of the knowledge and experience I had now, if I could transmit that to myself years ago, which I would give anything to do, then that new cause, it would have yielded the effects of being shredded years ago. And just, man, a totally different life timeline and trajectory that is kind of hard to even imagine. But now, the power that my present knowledge on lean maxing gave me, the change it could have wrought in my life years ago, saving me so much pain, so much wasted time, wasted years, I am now offering that to you. Because the launch of this video marks the full launch of my SA3 Total Angularity group, also known as STAG. Why did I choose the acronym STAG? It's because STAG means going to a dance or an event single, by yourself, without a partner. And what is a partner? A partner is an equal. And when you are single digit body fat and de-bloated like I am, and you go out in public, you are without equals in everyday life. I never see guys with my angularity. And this was true before my significant bone structure changes that YouTube doesn't want me to discuss here. Once you unlock your chiseled face, you are stag in society. You are the stag amongst other men. You are without equal, because this elite level of aesthetic accomplishment, it's so absurdly rare that I live in LA, the most attractive city in the world, modeling, influencers, everything, and I never see it. All of these guys that are like handsome, cute, that are decent looking to girls or whatever, you can immediately outclass them just through superior, undeniable, rare tier chiseledness that girls are not used to seeing. Imagine being the one guy who can send a Snapchat like this or like this. Girls just don't know guys like that. Joining STAG means you are part of the daily diet meeting threads, where there's ongoing support and accountability and coaching from me and just help from other people who are also pursuing the same things. This group contains resources that would have changed my life years back, and that will save you so much time that I wasted, which really agonizes me. We also provide links and sources to any diet supplements or supports that you might need, since this can also be a really key part of the equation. The 15% bloat max gym bro who is coping is not enough in 2026, guys. It never was, especially when we have mainstream studies showing that low body fat is more important than shoulder to width ratio. For so many guys, even just getting chiseled without the other maxes, it allows them to get the life they want, which is crazy. But imagine doing that and then stacking it with other maxes later. That's when you can truly be an outlier male. And I think this is why the looks improvement space is kind of a joke, because you don't even stand a chance if you don't even meet the prerequisite of being totally lean. And yet 99% of guys orbiting the sphere aren't there, and frankly never will be, as sad as it is. It's like wanting to do well on a test without studying, or heck, without even showing up to take the test. It's just ridiculous. Being chiseled is the basis for male aesthetics, and even with my facial structure now, I immediately descend so hard when I am not totally lean or if I have a little bit of water retention. So getting lean, it ascends you further than you ever thought possible. Like week over week, you look better than you ever thought you could. And it's just beyond belief. And as soon as you think you're capped out, next week you look even better, and you're just euphoric to see the changes, and it motivates you to go on and on. So it brings you to your present peak, but also, guys, it is the basis, it is the undeniable prerequisite for other looks methods. Fillers, implants, or just other methods that can improve your bone structure similarly. If you do any of these things without seeing your true underlying chiseled bone structure, then whatever millimeters of mass you add will not perfectly fit your actual needs. And then if you ever actually get lean, then you're going to uncover that you look uncanny, which is not good. And that's the huge issue I keep running into on Getting Hammered Official, where there's 500 guys, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's only like 10 of us that are actually lean enough. And these guys want bone structure advice and how to improve. And the answer is you can't. You can't even see your base. But once you do, once you unlock your true chiseled face, then you can see what other strategies to use. And then of course, it'll just max you out in the present as well. A totally angular face is not optional for men in our 2026 reality. And even if you do assent to this, it doesn't mean that it's easy. It doesn't mean that it's even possible with your current resources and information. Because again, we live in a causal reality, and the causes to get me shredded were not possible for years. But I'm confident that the stag group will be the acting cause to get you shredded and to keep you there. As a pretty smart guy, I could not do it for years, guys. It was insane. If you are not totally angular as a guy, then you are throwing away your potential best life. There is seriously not time to waste with this, because we are young one time. And every month that goes by not at our best is a month not lived to the fullest. And it's a month that we can never get back. So check out the SA3 Total Angularity group, link in the description below. Since you guys know me and how I pour myself into this work that I'm doing, there are some really major things coming with the main forum Getting Hammered. And part of the reason I'm launching this group right now is to help finance some of those changes. So obviously don't join it for that. This isn't a fucking charity. This is a business. You don't support a business. A business needs to support you. But just figured I would go ahead and mention that as well. That it's already a great high value offer, the stag group, but it's also going to be helping to finance some changes and coming stuff with the forum that is just going to be really amazing for the look sphere, something that the look sphere really desperately needs. So just figured I'd mention that. Guys, that is my second video. Unfortunately, it's the first fucking video on the channel because the first one got taken down twice now. But anyways, that's it for me. Spectrum Aesthetics 3, ending it here. Do your best, because that's all we can do, and I'll see you in the next one.